Thanks for tuning in. You're watching The Big Story with me, Avni Raja. Let's get to the biggest story that we've been tracking today. With just one day to go for the pan-India release of Padmaavat, the fringe refuses to back down. Riots have broken out across India. Reports of violence, arson and vandalism are coming in from across the country, from Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Haryana, Maharashtra, Telangana and even from Jammu. What you can see on your screens right now, it seems the state governments have failed to maintain law and order like was instructed by the Supreme Court. Remember, the Supreme Court said it is the state governments now that have to ensure that law and order is maintained when the film releases. But Gurugram witnessed violent protests with protesters blocking the Wazirpur Pataudi road. Buses were burned on the Sona road just near the Ryan school. In fact, the Karni Sena's goons did not even spare little children. The visuals there on your screens very clearly showing how children were cowering in fright after Karni Sena workers surrounded their bus, pelted stones and terrorized them. School children who have nothing to do with the Karni Sena or Padmaavat were held to ransom by a motley group of criminals. Let's go across to Priyank, who's joining us for more details. Priyank, what really happened when the school bus was held to ransom like this? Little children inside, stones being pelted by Karni Sena goons. Where were the police? What were they doing?
Yeah, certainly, and these are the same. This is the same roof where this another bus was also burned down, and many of these protesters started stone pelting on Gurugram police officials. Petrol bombs were thrown at our crew when we were trying to report this sequence. So this is a total, failure of the law and order situation, which is once again seen in the state of Manohar Khattar. We know that there are few areas, there were few villages of which is having totally predominant population of Rajput, and in that particular stretch certainly proper security was not provided, and when this bus which was on the route back from the school was attacked by these goons, and in the visuals you can clearly see that how these small children and teachers are trying to save their life. But one more thing which has happened is the first show of Padmaavat has been released in Gurugram at 6:55 was the first timing of the show, and we could see many of the people going to watch this movie. This is a deployment which has been made by the Gurugram police officials at all those cineplexes where this movie Padmaavat is being screened right now. And after the failure which we have noticed since early in the morning in Gurugram Pataudi road, we saw that a mob burned many tires and they blocked the road. We saw that how a bus was gutted down and stone pelting and petrol bombs were thrown at the Gurugram police officials. Now finally the movie has been released in Gurugram. That is one achievement which has been achieved by the state administration, but that too after failing at several fronts. Right now the movie is going on, the movie has just started, and all those protesters who gathered on the Sona highway were pushed back by the Gurugram police officials. There were few detention, but the big question is that if this kind of alert was already there with the state administration, why they failed miserably.
Right. Priyank, if I can just interrupt you there, have there been any arrests that were made at all? Priyank, have there been any arrests that were made, whether it's with respect to the school bus incident or with the other protests that we've been seeing across?
See no others so far in the school bus incident, but Gurugram Police Commissioner and the DC of Gurugram will be holding a press conference in a short while from now at MG Road, where they will be briefing the detail of all those others. Certainly we have seen, our camera crew have also captured visuals of many protesters being detained. Certainly they will also be shown arrest by the Gurugram police officials, but no preventive detention was done in the morning. Since section 144 has been imposed in all these cineplexes which are there in Gurugram in 200 meters of area, no suspicious person is allowed, no protest is allowed, but they have failed on the initial front. by gathering proper intelligence input that in which portion there can be vandalism.
Right.
They have failed to do preventive arrest,
Right.
which could have done earlier in the day, which could have easily solved this issue, because we are talking about a stretch of Gurugram which already had a predominant population of Rajput, and that area was ignored, and probably because of which these two incidents have happened. One attack on the school bus, and second one by burning down a state transport bus and stone pelting on Gurugram police officers.
Right, absolutely, Priyank. So what you're saying is, despite knowing that this was a sensitive area, there was no preventive measures that were taken. All right, thanks so much for joining us with all of that. Let's shift focus now to Delhi. Protesters damaged and vandalized cars in Prashant Vihar in the Rohini area. Now, Delhi police claim that security arrangements have been made to ensure the smooth screening of Padmaavat, but hundreds of Karni Sena supporters took out a bikers rally and damaged a lot of public property. Let's go across to Apurva, who's been tracking things at this end in Delhi. Apurva, take us through what's happening on ground. The police seem to have claimed that there are proper enforcements in place, but take us through what's happening.
Well, on one hand, when the Delhi police has in fact very categorically claimed that they have enough security in place, the security arrangements ahead of the slated release of the movie Padmaavat is in place. But we have seen the kind of violence that has taken place, the kind of vandalism that took place in Rohini's Prashant Vihar area, where more than 100 supporters of the Karni Sena who took out a bikers rally went on a rampage, destroyed, damaged and broke the window panes of almost 6 to 7 vehicles there in the Prashant Vihar area, while they were constitutively sloganeering against the movie Padmaavat. That were the scenes on the roads of Prashant Vihar in Rohini, while the Delhi police then quickly detained some of those protesters. But certainly the lawlessness could be really seen on ground. On one hand, when the Delhi police did really assure the people of no violence will be taking place, this were the scenes that we saw today ahead of the slated release of the movie Padmaavat. There were 6 to 7 people of the supporters who were detained at this point. But clearly, this has certainly caused a lot of damage there on ground, especially in terms of property as well, where this entire 100 supporters of the Karni Sena went on a rampage, started breaking the window panes of the cars and scooters and all the vehicles that they could see on the road in Prashant Vihar area.
Right, and Apurva, as far as the police are concerned, take us through, has there been any kind of arrests that have been made at all from of the Karni Sena, the people who are protesting?
Well, at this point, no official word they're coming in as far as the arrests are concerned. Of course, the police have detained some of the protesters there, some of the people who were sloganeering at that point. But considering it was a bikers rally, more than 100 supporters who went on a rampage. In fact, the security for post that was tightened across a lot of malls, cineplexes and multiplexes as well, with the Delhi police very clearly maintaining that they have enough security in place. Even right now where I'm standing, you can see a lot of security personnel outside this particular Cineplex in New Friends Colony, where currently the first show, which is the paid preview show, is currently on. There are a lot of people who have come to watch the movie. There's a lot of security here. Each and every exit and entry point to this particular marketplace has also been secured. There have additional CISF personnel also who have been deployed. There are ITBP officials who have also been deployed in this area. Delhi police, in fact, the constables and other officials have also come here to inspect and to just take a stock of the situation. In fact, even the managers of these malls as well as theatre owners are constantly coming out and talking to the people, making sure that there is no untoward incident that take place. That has been the arrangement when it comes to the movie Padmaavat in and across Delhi and NCR. But clearly, sporadic incidents like these are certainly raising questions on the kind of preparedness and the kind of security arrangements in place, particularly when the movie is slated to release tomorrow. It is going to be hitting the theatres tomorrow on January 25th, and with the Karni Sena and other fringe groups not backing down, they're not relenting. We've seen the kind of violence that had taken place in Delhi NCR on this particular movie. So clearly there is going to be a lot of anticipation as well. Of course, the security arrangements completely tightened across each and every mall, multiplex, cineplex, each and every exit and entry of even markets are being now properly looked at, and there is strong vigilance that is taking place across the entire Delhi NCR region.
All right, thanks Apurva for getting us those details. That's as far as the situation in Delhi is concerned. Now, protests in fact have spread out across northern India as well, where the fringe attacked a theatre in the heart of Jammu city and tried to set it on fire. Let's go across to Pradeep Datta, who's joining us. Pradeep, at this point, take us through what the situation is on ground.
Fringe elements are on rampage across the country. We have seen that several incidents of protest, arson and vandalism has been reported right from Gwalior to Gurugram as well as Delhi and now in Jammu region also. Just hours before the screening of this controversial Padmaavat movie, the group of about 40 to 50 people, they moved towards the Indra Theatre, which is in the heart of the Jammu city. They first vandalized the theatre, broke window panes, then they attacked the ticketing counter, and later on they were carrying with them the petrol as well as kerosene oil. They tried to set in cinema hall on fire. But timely action by the staff members, they were able to extinguish fire and prevented any kind of tragedy. But this has led to a panic among the people. Soon after that, immediately the police party from the nearby police station rushed to the spot, and right now the security around the theatre has been beefed up. But it has led to the people who were there for the movie, they rushed from that place. So right now there is a lot of tension in that particular area. These forthcoming days will be really very difficult for the security agencies, including the paramilitary force people and the police personnel, because they will have to guard all these cinema halls here in Jammu region where this movie will be screened. Besides this, they are also looking at the CCTV footage so that they can identify the people who were responsible for this act, so that action can be initiated. Right now the manhunt has already been launched by the police. The search is on so that they can arrest those people and send a very strong and clear message that at any cost they will not allow such elements to disturb peace in Jammu region. We have seen that it was Supreme Court that has cleared the deck earlier last week by allowing the movie to be screened on January 25th. And today at about 4:10 a.m. that was the time when a group of people, they moved towards the Indra Theatre, which is in Canal Road in the heart of the Jammu city. They entered inside the cinema hall, attacked the ticketing counter, tried to set it ablaze, but timely and swift action by the staff members were able to save the day. But there's a lot of panic and tension among the people, because tomorrow the movie is to be screened in two main halls here. One is in the Indra Theatre and another is the Waves Hall where the movie will be screened. So the security has been beefed up. The clear-cut instructions from the top police officials had been given to the men at different police stations that at any cost they have to ensure that the mob is not able to come close to the cinema hall. All the entry and exit points to the Indra Theatre have been properly plugged so that they can prevent any kind of mob and the goon from coming towards the theatre. But now it is to be seen whether all these measures that is being taken by the state government will be able to restore the confidence among the people. People will be coming towards the cinema hall to watch movie. So next 24 hours are really going to be very crucial for both the police and the paramilitary force person. On one hand, they have to ensure the safety and security of the people and the cinema hall and public property. And besides this, they have also to ensure and restore confidence of the people so that they can come towards the cinema hall and watch movie, because there are certain elements they feel that the director of the film, Sanjay Leela Bansali, has in fact distorted the history. So they have objection to that. Now,
right. All right, that was the situation as far as Jammu is concerned, but protests also spread across Bhopal. The protesters torched a bus, and we also found out that women, Karni Sena workers from Ratlam, have written to the president seeking permission for euthanasia. They've also threatened to conduct Jauhar in massive numbers if an immediate ban is not put on the film. Let's go across to Mohit, who's joining us on the phone line. Mohit, take us through, as far as these women are concerned, they're threatening to commit Jauhar in massive numbers. What's happening?
Well, certainly, ever since this controversy actually broke out with regards to the movie Padmaavati, and now whose name has been changed to Padmaavat, there has been a lot of controversy that has been circling around it. And now, once again, it seems that women from Ratlam this time around have threatened to carry out a Jauhar in large numbers. They've also written to the president asking his permission to carry out euthanasia if the movie is permitted to release, and they are asking the center government to immediately intervene with regards to the release of this movie. At the same time, violence has been prevailing in the entire state of Madhya Pradesh. There have been reports of violence, buses being torched. At the same time, violence prevailing at various highways across Madhya Pradesh have also been reported. So, that tells you the situation right now that is prevailing in the agrarian state of Madhya Pradesh. And it seems that the supporters and the protesters, the supporters of Karni Sena and the protesters against, who've been protesting and leading demonstrations against the movie Padmaavat are in no way ready to, come to at the bar. They're not ready to come to a point where they would readily agree for the movie to be released. So they are doing everything in their own hands, from taking the law and order situation into their hands to outrightly, asking the center to intervene immediately.
All right, thanks Mohit for taking us through all those details. Let's also shift focus to Jaipur, where protesters jammed the Delhi-Jaipur highway at Vaishali Nagar, and more protests were reported at the Ajmer road on the same highway.
What Rajasthan is seeing is complete lawlessness, because we have been reporting since morning that in Jaipur itself, the Jaipur-Delhi highway had been blocked by the protesters of Karni Sena, not on one place but 2-3 places, different places. So clearly these people, these goons of Karni Sena have been playing a one-upmanship with the local police, and police has not been able to deter them anyhow. So clearly this is a failure on part of Rajasthan police, particularly in Jaipur, that even in the capital Jaipur, police has not been able to capitulate on the goons of Karni Sena. Earlier also we have reported incident from Nimka Thana in Jaipur, where Karni Sena goons have pelted stone on a state roadway bus, and ruckus was created in Nimka Thana. Then we have reported that a Karni Sena goon had climbed on a tower in Bhilwara district of Rajasthan in Gangapur city. So clearly incidents are being reported from all across the Rajasthan, and there are reports that many of the towns in Rajasthan are going to observe Bandh tomorrow. So clearly these protests are not dying down in Rajasthan, and as the date of the release, which is tomorrow, coming nearer, these protests are getting shriller. And not because this issue is an emotive issue, particularly for Chittorgarh, but this is because the law and order authorities have not acted firmly against these goons in last 3 months.
Well, that's the situation as far as Rajasthan is concerned. Just remember, state is on a high alert, but we're getting a lot of calls as well. DK Agarwal from Mumbai is on the phone line with us. Thanks, Mr. Agarwal, for calling in. Go ahead. Mr. Agarwal, can you hear me?
I have to now speak?
Yes, please go ahead.
Now this is every 15 days or 1 month, Gujar Andolan and this Jat Andolan, and in Maharashtra recently, and now this Andolan is going on. How people will live? And we say that ease of business in India. Now who will come here? They also may be seeing all these things, and it will be a very, very bad picture of our India going abroad.
Absolutely.
That we are just fighting for such a small thing. I don't know how they are taking such a big thing unnecessarily.
Absolutely, absolutely, Mr. Agarwal. Completely agree with you. How India is perceived on a global platform is also extremely important, and this certainly doesn't put a very good light. All right, we've also got Stephen on the phone line with us. Hi, Stephen. Thanks for calling in. Go ahead.
Good evening, Faye. Thank you very much for putting me on the show. Just wanted to express my opinion that, despite the Supreme Court order giving the go-ahead, the state governments have been very complicit in, letting things go out of control. And if such a thing is out of control, then I don't know how they could run a state. Supreme Court should dissolve the current government in each of the states for this unfortunate event.
Absolutely.
Because I don't think they could handle the state affairs thereafter.
Absolutely, Stephen. I completely agree with you. This is a small thing, and the kind of violence it's created, the kind of protests it's created is something that we really need to question. We've got Rajendra Joshi from Bengaluru on the phone line. Hi, Rajendra. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
This is Rajendra Joshi.
Yes.
I would like to ask one question, and that is, where is our Pradhan Sevak when the entire nation is burning? Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
I wanted to ask, where is our Pradhan Sevak when the entire nation is burning?
Right. Right, absolutely. It's a valid question, Mr. Joshi, and in fact, a lot of people who have been questioning what the state government, Supreme Court has very clearly put the mandate on state governments to ensure that law and order is maintained, and that is the question that we're consistently raising here on Mirror Now, saying that why is violence not being able to be contained in all these different states despite what the apex court has ordered, despite the onus being put on the state governments that there needs to be the smooth release of the film. We've seen in Ahmedabad, the mall has been attacked, vehicles have been torched. We've seen in Gurugram, highways blocked, tires were burnt. In Jaipur, the national highway was blocked by protests. In Sikar, the state transport buses were vandalized. Section 144 has been imposed in parts of Gurugram, Noida, as well as in Delhi. Rajasthan is on high alert as well. We saw the kind of protests that were being held there. And of course, the fact that in Rajasthan at this point, like we heard our correspondent tell us, that this film is not going to be screened anywhere in the state of Rajasthan because distributors have refused to take the film on board. There were shows that were slotted for this evening in Meerut that were cancelled, and even in UP we might see theatres choosing not to screen the film. In fact, what we're hearing, the latest is that protests have erupted in West Bengal as well, and we're getting new visuals from Arsenal where VHP workers burnt down effigies. Those are the visuals there on your screens. We'll try and get you more details on the kind of protests in West Bengal, but that's the latest that we hear, that the protests have erupted in West Bengal as well. The visuals there are from Arsenal where VHP workers burned effigies. And it's not just West Bengal, this is the latest state to sort of enter the protests across the country, whether it's Jammu, whether it's UP, Rajasthan, of course, the hub of all of this, Madhya Pradesh. And some of these states, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, these are the ones which had banned the film earlier on, and then the Supreme Court came down heavily on them, saying that they cannot ban the film. It even said that other states cannot ban the film. In fact, talking about Rajasthan, Chittorgarh Fort has been the hub of protests since the very beginning. Earlier today as well, Rajput women who were protesting outside the fort threatened to commit jauhar.
जौहर का महत्व तो यही है, स्वाभिमान की लड़ाई के लिए जौहर करना पड़ता है, और वही शब्द भले कैसा भी हो, हमने जौहर को शब्द हटा के इच्छा मृत्यु का उनसे अनुमति चाहिए, वो भी हमको नहीं मिल रही है। तो क्या स्वाभिमान के लिए हम जी नहीं सकते? मर तो सकते हैं, क्यों हमको इस तरह से किया जा रहा? मरने के लिए भी हम पे पाबंदी लगाई जा रही। और वहाँ भंसाली जो पिक्चर है, पता नहीं कैसी। मैडम, आपने पिक्चर देखी है? आपको देखी है? पिक्चर नहीं देखी है, देखना बाकी है क्या? इतनी पूरी भारत की जनता कह रही है कि पिक्चर देख के ही फिर कहेगी फैसला क्या? मूर्ख है वो जनता।
भाई, मूवी में सारा ही शुरू से लगा के अंत तक गलत बताया है। इसमें चित्तौड़ की इतिहास को तोड़ा मरोड़ा गया है, संस्कृति को तोड़ा मरोड़ा गया है, शुरू से लगा के अंत उसका गलत है। उसमें जौहर नहीं दिखाया गया जो कि महारानी पद्मिनी ने जौहर किया। अगर महारानी पद्मिनी का जौहर नाम से मूवी बनाई जाती तो आज पूरा राजपूताना उन पे गर्व करता।
पूछ रहे कि आपकी मांग क्या है? मांगते तो भिखारी, हम मांगने के लिए नहीं बैठे, हम राजपूताने, हम क्षत्राणी, हमारे स्वाभिमान की लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं और स्वाभिमान के लिए यहाँ बैठे, और हमारा स्वाभिमान हम बचा के रहेंगे।
The Karni Sena members also protested outside the Wave Cinema in Lucknow. In fact, one of the members attempted to self-immolate outside the cinema. The police lathi-charged on these protesters. Inox Cinema in Meerut had to cancel 2 of the shows they planned tonight because of these protests and the repeated ransacking of their ticket window. All right, let's go across to Amir for more details on what's happening in Lucknow. Amir, take us through what you're picking up. What's the latest? Any further cancellations of screenings?
Well, throughout the day, we have witnessed, regular protests across the state of Uttar Pradesh, from state capital Lucknow to Meerut in western UP to Etawah in central UP to various parts of eastern UP, there have been regular protests and in fact sporadic cases of violence as well. Like in Meerut, the Inox theatre was attacked over there. In Etawah, over a dozen vehicles were ransacked and damaged by anti-Padmaavat protesters. And in state capital Lucknow, again, Inox theatre was attacked here, as well as Wave theatre was attacked. Several goons and hooligans who were picked up by the police and taken to the police station for questioning were in fact approached by more of their associates. And in fact, in one of such cases, they tried to free them outside the Gomti Nagar police station, wherein the police in fact resorted to lathi charge, where a number of protesters there also sustained injuries. So, despite the kind of tall claims made by the government as far as providing security and safety to moviegoers as well as cinema hall owners, there have been a number of cases which actually stand out and also reflect the law and order situation on the ground.
Absolutely, Amir, and that's really the point here. That's really the question that we're asking on Mirror now. The Supreme Court couldn't be more clear in its instruction. It's not a direction, it was a mandate, it was an instruction that it has to be followed, that the states have to ensure that law and order is maintained with the film's release. That was not an option, it wasn't a suggestion, it wasn't a direction, it was an order. And despite that, this is the situation that we are seeing on ground today in almost every state in the country. The fringe is running amok, it has a free hand to do what it wants, and the police, despite knowing, the state governments, despite knowing, have not been able to control the situation on ground. And that's the question that we will keep raising as to why that is the case. Thanks for watching.